Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including students falling ill at a school concert yesterday, Fairfield police looking for a suspect in a hit and run, and much more. Frank Renito has a look at that storm headed our way tomorrow, and later on, a look at your Nutmeg Sports Update. Donald Lang will also join us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, more than 10 Milford students were apparently overcome by heat during rehearsals for the upcoming Music in Our Schools chorale concert on Monday, March 19th at Foran High School. Now, students from both high schools and Milford's 3 middle schools were in that rehearsal. 4 students fainted, according to a statement from Milford Public Schools, while at least 7 more reported feeling ill. Now, it is believed that the students fell ill due to overheating while standing on the risers underneath those stage lights, according to a statement from Milford Schools. Now, emergency medical personnel responded to Foran and took 4 students to local hospitals for further evaluation. 6 of those who reported not feeling well went home with their parents, while 1 felt well enough to return to school. Now, Milford police tweeted that it was very hot in that auditorium and students were overcome by the heat. Rehearsals were ended and class was resumed. You can look for updates on that story at milfordmirror.com. And in Ridgefield, a section of North Salem Road was closed Sunday, March 18th around 5:30 p.m. after a Volkswagen sedan struck a utility pole at the intersection of Farrar Lane. Now, Fire Chief Jerry Myers told the Ridgefield Press that car suffered severe front-end damage in that crash, which severed the pole. Now, Myers said the driver, who was taken to Danbury Hospital with injuries, did not need to be extricated from the car. No other cars were involved in that accident. Now, Ridgefield police closed that section of North Salem Road near Farrar Lane, detouring northbound traffic at the time around that crash. You can get more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And Fairfield police are looking for the driver of a white Volkswagen that they say fled the scene of a crash on Monday afternoon. Now, Fairfield police released a photo of that white VW, possibly a Jetta, that they say left the scene of a crash near the intersection of the Post Road and Bungalow Road shortly after 4 in the afternoon. They say that car suffered front-end damage and continued east on the Post Road. Now, the driver is described as a young white male. Anyone with information is asked to contact Fairfield officers at 203-254-4850. And the Stanford Narcotics and Organized Crime Squad officers intercepted a heroin delivery from New York and arrested a Bronx man on drug charges, according to the Stanford Advocate. Now, Police Captain Richard Conklin said officers in the narcotics squad heard that a heroin delivery was being made Friday evening, and they stationed some of its officers near that Interstate 95 off-ramp near West Avenue in hopes of spotting that vehicle. Well, at 7:30 that night, the vehicle was watched pulling off of the ramp and was pulled over a short distance away. Conklin said that driver, 47-year-old Lamore Williams, was allegedly found to be carrying 11 bundles of heroin. Now, each bundle contained 10 bags of heroin that commonly sell for about $20 on the street. Conklin said the bags of heroin did not have a name stamped on them and therefore were suspected of having been cut with the lethal drug fentanyl. Williams was also found in possession of a small bag of marijuana and a counterfeit $50 bill. Now, he was charged with possession and sales of narcotics, as well as possession of a controlled substance and first-degree forgery. And in other news, a Wilton police officer pursued a suspect in a stolen vehicle after its owner reported it being taken out of his driveway early March 16th. Now, the owner of that vehicle stolen from 18 Winton Terrace saw the vehicle being stolen and contacted the PD. Well, an officer then saw the vehicle leaving the area and attempted to stop it, which then engaged the officer in a pursuit. Now, according to police, that pursuit was called off due to safety reasons, and the vehicle has not been recovered. Now, that vehicle theft came during a rash of car burglaries during the overnight hours of March 16th, which prompted Wilton police to warn residents again to lock their vehicles. Now, there were also 2 attempts at theft from a vehicle. And 26-year-old Kavan Devine, an Easton resident, was sentenced this week to 36 months of imprisonment, followed by 3 years of supervised release for allegedly selling drugs over the dark net. Now, according to court documents and statements made in court, on December 4th, 2016, Easton police seized a bag belonging to Devine that contained approximately 744 grams of methamphetamine and 1/2 pills labeled Xanax, as well as drug paraphernalia. Now, Devine was arrested the next day, and a subsequent search of a hotel room that he rented revealed an additional quantity of methamphetamine, as well as items used to process, package, and mail drugs. Investigators also seized a laptop computer. Well, that investigation established that Devine had obtained the methamphetamine and Xanax over the dark net, which he also then used to distribute the drugs. Well, the search of Devine's laptop also revealed more than 1,000 images of child pornography, which Devine also acquired over the dark net. Now, police say the dark net is websites that aren't accessible through traditional search engines, but by way of special browsers and software that conceal IP addresses and make users harder to trace. Well, on October 2nd, 2017, Devine pleaded guilty to 1 count of possession with intent to distribute 50 grams of more of methamphetamine and a quantity of Xanax. All right, taking a turn now, let's get a look at your forecast, which isn't so great right now, with our own Frank Granito. Frank.
Well, happy spring, Kate, and it is going to be quite the start to the new season. Looking at temperatures right around 40 degrees today, a little bit of sunshine in the early parts of the day, which will make way for clouds in the afternoon, and it will start to get cold. Winds picking up overnight. They're going to reach around 20 to 25 miles per hour. We'll have mostly cloudy skies heading into Wednesday morning, and right around 8 o'clock is when we can expect the snowfall to start consistently. We're looking at anywhere right now, they're saying between 6 to 10 inches. Going to be a steady snow throughout the day, a heavy wet snow early on in the day, and then varying intensities later on in the evening. You'll see the heavier parts of snow accumulating around 6 inches up to about 2, 3 o'clock. Then with the varying intensities, maybe 1 to 3 more inches coming along. Going to be windy as well throughout the day. We're most likely, with this heavy wet snow, looking at a couple more trees and power lines coming down, and the snow is expected to carry on until around midnight, maybe even 1 o'clock. Should start to clear up on Thursday, though. Maybe even some sunshine later in the day and not as cold, but hopefully this is the last storm we see, not only of the winter, but also of the spring, which officially begins today. Make sure you get down to Dairy Queen or Rita's, get yourself free ice cream before we get hit with the cold.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We are going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news after this.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Welcome back to this March 20th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, you remember the Brat Pack? That's Rob Lowe, Demi Moore, those people, Breakfast Club. Did you know that the radio anthem to the quintessential Brat Pack movie was actually written about a Canadian paraplegic? It was, and while you try to figure out which one, we're going to go to 1852. Connecticut-born teacher Harriet Beecher Stowe publishes the novel Uncle Tom's Cabin. Now, the story centers around a long-suffering slave and the people he comes into contact with. It depicts the realities of slavery while also asserting that Christian love can overcome even enslavement. Uncle Tom's Cabin would go on to become the second best-selling book of the entire 19th century, second only to the Bible. On a related topic, 1854, the Republican Party of the U.S. is organized in Ripon, Wisconsin by anti-slavery activists. Now, the Republicans were actually a party of liberal ideas until around 1912, when Teddy Roosevelt formed the Bull Moose Party to push for more social reforms, many of which were later added to the New Deal. Starting around 1860, the GOP has won 24 of 40 presidential elections. 1915 now, Albert Einstein publishes the general theory of relativity. Now, most people know E equals mc squared, but there's a lot more to it than that, trust me. As the name implies, general relativity generalizes special relativity with Newton's laws of gravitation, which unifies gravity as a geometric property of space and time, or space-time. I have no idea what any of that means, but there are literally hundreds of consequences of general relativity, some of which have only become known in the after decades of research into Einstein's equations. Finally, now we go to 1985 in Canada for this. You're looking at Canadian Rick Hansen there, who was embarking on what he called the Man in Motion World Tour. Paralyzed from the waist down due to a car crash at age 15, Hansen covered 31 miles per day in his wheelchair for 26 months across 34 countries, raised $26 million for quality of life improvements. And if you ever thought that the references to climbing mountains and needing a pair of wheels and the theme from St. Elmo's Fire were symbolic, they're not. They're about Rick Hansen. That is your look back in history for today, March 20th, and I'm Donald Ing.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, Darien police arrested a Stamford man involved in multiple shoplifting incidents on March 13th. Loss prevention employees at the Heights Road Stop and Shop identified 42-year-old James Coates from prior shoplifting incidents and began monitoring him when he entered the store at about 3 p.m. They say Coates filled a cart with items and went to the register, where he then told the cashier that he did not have any money to pay, and he left the cart. Well, as he attempted to leave, the loss prevention employees stopped Coates and found items hidden under his jacket. Now, Coates admitted to stealing them from the neighboring Walgreens. Video surveillance footage from that Walgreens showed Coates hiding products inside his jacket. Police say several personal hygiene products were found on his person, a total value of about $166. Well, a routine check of Coates' information also revealed an active arrest warrant out of Stamford for 6th-degree larceny. Coates was transported to headquarters, where he was processed on a new charge of larceny for shoplifting, and he was released on a promise to appear to officers from the Stamford Police Department. He's now due in court on March 23rd. And the Milford Historic Preservation Commission voted unanimously Monday night to deny a developer's plan to demolish a historic home on Prospect Street to build 44 one-bedroom units and a 1,200 square foot of office space at that site. Now, after several hours that included a presentation of the plan by the developer's attorney, Dominic Thomas, and pleas from a room full of residents to deny that plan and protect Milford history, the commission voted against a certificate of appropriateness that would have allowed the house to be razed. Well, the house in question is located at 67 Prospect Street and was built by David L. Baldwin in 1835. Now, Baldwin, who was born in Milford in 1785, was the town clerk of Milford for 27 years and the clerk of probate for 12 years. Well, the property on which that house sits was also once part of the home lot of Reverend Peter Pruden, leader of the Hertfordshire group that founded Milford in 1639 and the first pastor of the First United Church of Christ. Well, the city's first burying ground was in Pruden's backyard, meaning that a number of Milford founders are buried on that property, according to city historians. There's a lot more on that story at milfordmirror.com. And on Ridgefield's Main Street, state planners have proposals for some changes, including turning lanes, planted bump outs to calm traffic and aid pedestrians, and 8 or more trees being replaced. Well, a State Department of Transportation public information meeting on those plans is scheduled for this Thursday, March 22nd, in the school board room of the Town Hall Annex. The DOT says an open forum for individual discussion with department officials will begin at 6:30 p.m., followed by a design presentation at 7 p.m. Now, the state describes the purpose of that roughly $3.15 million project as traffic operational improvements on Main Street between Governor Street and Prospect Street. Now, those plans involve relocating the CVS Shopping Center driveway so it's normalized opposite of Prospect Street, where a dedicated left turn into the driveway from Main Street is also proposed. Now, there are also plans for dedicated left turn lanes at the Katuna Street and Bailey Avenue intersections. The state says that various curb extension bump outs are also proposed as traffic calming elements, as well as to provide pedestrian crossing improvements. Much more on that plan at theridgefieldpress.com. And emergency responders helped deliver a baby in Ansonia on Sunday. Ansonia Rescue and Medical Service report that on Sunday afternoon they were dispatched to an active childbirth. While crews responded to find that patient having contractions just minutes apart. Crews quickly and safely transferred mom to the ambulance, and as they were about to depart for the hospital, that little baby had other plans. They report that a healthy baby girl was born in the back of the ambulance at 2:21 p.m. Ansonia Rescue wrote on Facebook that amidst all of the heartbreak and sickness we see, the day was a great one that will not soon be forgotten. They also said, "We are so happy that mom and baby are doing well." All right, let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
All right, Kate. How about a big shout out to Greenwich's own Cam Atkinson. Playing against the Boston Bruins last night, he extended the Columbus Blue Jackets win streak to 8 games with his overtime winner, as the Blue Jackets defeated the Bruins 5-4. That overtime winner coming 2 minutes and 55 seconds into the extra period. So a very proud moment for the town of Greenwich. And speaking of the town of Greenwich, we are excited to be heading down to Greenwich High School this afternoon. Our spring sports tour kicking off for the 2018 spring season will be with Greenwich today, hopefully with Danbury and Ridgefield tomorrow. But that, of course, pending the weather, which we're going to have more on shortly. For now, though, we'll go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we're going to step out for a break, come back, and recap some of the top stories we're following today after this.
Set sail on a summertime adventure with Sail Away Sailing School. Located in Captain's Cove Seaport in Bridgeport, we're sailing June 18th through August 10th. 2 sessions offered daily, Monday through Friday for ages 9 to 15. Have fun, make friends, learn to sail. Visit teamsailaway.com.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during Ram Truck Month, get up to $14,000 off on all in-stock 2017 Ram 1500 pickups. Come in and see us for details. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Ridgefield, PambyZone.com.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Welcome back to this Tuesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. More than 10 Milford students were apparently overcome by heat during rehearsals for the upcoming music in our school's chorale concert on Monday at Foreign High School. Now, students from both high schools and Milford's 3 middle schools were in the rehearsal. 4 students fainted, according to a statement from Milford Public Schools, while at least 7 more reported feeling ill. Now, it is believed the students fell ill due to overheating while standing on the risers underneath those stage lights, according to the public schools. Now, emergency medical personnel responded to Foreign and took 4 students to local hospitals for further evaluation. 6 of those who reported not feeling well went home with parents, while 1 student felt well enough to return to school. Now, Milford Police also tweeted that it was very hot in the auditorium and students were overcome by that heat. Rehearsals were ended and classes resumed. There's more on that story at milfordmirror.com. And in Ridgefield, a section of North Salem Road was closed on Sunday, March 18th around 5:30 p.m. after a Volkswagen sedan struck a utility pole at the intersection of Farrar Lane. Now, Fire Chief Jerry Myers told the Ridgefield Press that car suffered severe front-end damage in the crash, which severed the pole. Now, Myers said the driver, who was taken to Danbury Hospital with injuries, did not need to be extricated from that vehicle. No other cars were involved in that accident. Now, Ridgefield police at the time had to close that section of North Salem Road near Farrar Lane, detouring traffic around it. More on that story at therridgefieldpress.com. And Fairfield police are looking for the driver of a white Volkswagen that they say fled the scene of a crash Monday afternoon, March 19th. Police released a photo of that white VW, possibly a Jetta, that they say left the scene of the crash near the intersection of Post Road and Bungalow Road shortly after 4 p.m. They say that car suffered front-end damage and then continued east on the Post Road. The driver is described as a young white male. Anyone with information is asked to contact officers at 203-254-4850. And the Stamford Narcotics and Organized Crime Squad officers intercepted a heroin delivery from New York and arrested a Bronx man on drug charges, according to the Stamford Advocate. Now, Police Captain Richard Conklin said officers in the narcotics squad heard that a heroin delivery was to be made Friday evening, so they stationed some of its officers near the Interstate 95 off-ramp near West Avenue in hopes of spotting that vehicle. Well, at around 7:30, that vehicle was watched pulling off the ramp and was pulled over a short distance away. Conklin said that driver, 47-year-old Lamore Williams, was allegedly found to be carrying 11 bundles of heroin. They said each bundle contained 10 bags of heroin that commonly sell for about $20 on the street. Conklin said the bags of heroin did not have a name stamped on them and therefore were suspected of having been cut with the lethal drug fentanyl. Williams was also found to be in possession of a small bag of marijuana and a counterfeit $50 bill. He was charged with possession and sales of narcotics, as well as possession of a controlled substance and first-degree forgery. And in other news, a Wilton police officer pursued a suspect in a stolen vehicle after its owner reported it being taken out of his driveway early March 16th. Now, the owner of that vehicle, stolen from 18 Winton Terrace, saw the vehicle being taken and then contacted police. Well, an officer found that vehicle leaving the area and attempted to stop it, but that driver engaged police in pursuit, according to a spokesman for the department. However, that pursuit was called off due to safety reasons, and that vehicle has not been recovered. Now, that vehicle theft came during a rash of car burglaries during the overnight hours of March 16th, which prompted Wilton police to warn residents to lock their cars. There's a lot more on that story at wiltonbulletin.com. But all right, let's take one final look at the forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
All right, thanks, Kate. Again, happy spring to everyone. It's going to be a cold one out there today. We're starting to see partly cloudy skies becoming overcast, and that's the way it will stay through the afternoon and into this evening. Temperatures right around 40 degrees, and it will start to get colder as we make our way to tonight. It's going to feel like 15 overnight with wind gusts reaching up around 25 miles per hour. 8 a.m. is when we can expect the snowfall to start tomorrow, looking at anywhere between 6 to 10 inches now. Depending on where you are in Fairfield County. Going to be a heavy, wet snow. There is that risk of trees and power lines coming down again. 6 inches should accumulate by around 2 o'clock, and then we'll start to see varying intensities through the evening and early parts of tomorrow night. Get an extra 3 inches coming our way, which should total out right around 10. We'll keep you posted on that, though. And again, heading down to Greenwich this afternoon, our spring sports store kicks off with the Cardinals. For now, though, back to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we are going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. As Frank said, we are out on tour this afternoon through the end of next week, but you can check HAN.network for your news updates and our student-athlete interviews. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and stay safe.